AG fans, Goji Fan 93 here, and welcome to another Kaiju discussion video. In this video, I wanted to discuss something that I came up with, like an idea to talk about, which I think would be pretty interesting, especially in light of the new Godzilla movie being released this past May. I wanted to talk about what if there was a 1954 Gojira remake. Now, I mean this as in a remake of the old 1954 movie, not a reboot like this 2014 movie was. I always thought it would be interesting to see a modernized take of the 1954 film with the same characters. You know, all the main characters, Emi, Dr. Serizawa, I don't remember all the characters' names, but all those characters in there and the events that happened in the movie still being in there. So the oxygen destroyer would be there, Godzilla would not be fighting another monster, it would just be Godzilla there, and I think it would be very interesting to see how that would go. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there, especially probably some of the older G fans, would be like, oh hell no, don't you dare touch 1954. That movie should never be remade. Now, I'm not saying that it would be, I mean, you know, I'm not just saying that we should do it, modernize it in a crappy way. But I do believe that remakes get a bad rap. I do believe that there are some remakes out there that are actually pretty good. Most of the time, they're never better than the original. I mean, I doubt that anything can be better than the original, but I do feel like with enough care and attention to the property that you can make a good remake. For instance, the King Kong, Peter Jackson's King Kong, that was actually a pretty good movie. It's not as good as the original, but it was pretty good. I enjoyed the movie, and you know, I'll have to, when I get to my reviews, I would love to talk about it. But so, you know, King Kong, right, well, since we're on the topic of King Kong, he's been remade multiple times. I mean, we've had the first one, 1933, and then there was the 70s remake. I don't remember exactly what year it was, but I know that it was in the 70s when that movie was remade. And then it got remade again in 2005 with Peter Jackson's King Kong. So I feel like Godzilla's never actually had a remake of a film. Even Godzilla 1984 wasn't a remake of 54, it was a reboot. The same thing with 2014, and the same thing with Godzilla 2000. They're all reboots. There's never been a remake of any Godzilla film. I mean, I think the closest that we're going to get to a remake is maybe Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster when it comes to the legendary Godzilla when he fights Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah, but I mean, we don't even know if all those monsters are going to be in one movie, and if they're not, then it's not really going to be a remake. So, you know, it just occurred to me, like, it would be interesting to see a 1954 remake, and let's just say that we get a director who knows exactly what he's doing. And, you know, I'm sorry guys, but I wouldn't want Gareth Edwards to do this one. I don't want him to do a 1954 remake. Personally, I think if there was to ever be a 1954 remake, I do believe it should be done by a Japanese director from a Japanese studio, preferably Toho. But if Toho doesn't want to do it, maybe they can, you know, outsource it to some other Japanese movie studio or something like that. It would be pretty funny if Daiei did it. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Anyways, but yeah, you know, I would definitely want it to be from a Japanese studio. Now, if it was from an American studio, that's fine, especially now because we have better relations with Toho regarding Godzilla compared to what it was in the 90s with, you know, Zilla. So, I think Toho trusts us a little bit more with the Godzilla property. But I feel, you know, we have to get a director who knows what Godzilla is, and he has to have grown up with Godzilla, he has to have, you know, enjoyed the first film. Basically, the first film has to, I mean, I would prefer if the first film was his #1 favorite Godzilla film, therefore he has the most passion for that film. And, you know, he knows the characters, he knows the story, he knows the message behind the movie, he knows the, you know, all the things that go into it. Now, another thing is not to have it be a shot-for-shot remake, because a lot of the times when you do a shot-for-shot remake, it's not really that good. A lot of you guys know about this Psycho remake, and that was a shot-for-shot thing, and it wasn't really that good. So, you know, we can bring new life into the 1954 film by remaking it, but not shot for shot, maybe adding some new scenes, maybe, or you know, maybe we can bring back the Steve Martin character that was played by Raymond Burr, and we can bring him back and actually make him kind of interesting, because personally, in 1954, Raymond Burr's character was not really that interesting. He just kind of stood there and kind of just talked about what was going on. He didn't really do a lot like he did in 1984 or 1985, which is the American version. So yeah, but definitely get a director who knows what he's doing. The studio is also important. I wouldn't mind if Legendary did this movie. I wouldn't mind if the studio did this movie. Also, I think now they would actually have to because they own the rights. But then Universal is also over here because now there's the partnership with Legendary and Universal, so that's fine. But let's just say in the future, like after the Legendary series is over, you know, and then another movie studio picks it up. I mean, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, Lionsgate. I mean, keep it away from like Disney, because Disney is just wanting to grab everything. Although, to be fair, Disney hasn't really messed with Marvel or Star Wars. We don't know, you know, I mean, Marvel's been doing pretty well, even though Disney has acquired them. But I would feel comfortable if Legendary still, you know, was the studio for it, or even Universal. I mean, I think that would be pretty funny. I mean, that'd be kind of full circle. I mean, we have Universal, the guys who did King Kong, and now they're doing a Godzilla 1954 remake. I think that would be actually pretty cool. So, but yeah, and you know, the characters themselves. I mean, I feel like, you know, sadly I don't remember the main character's name. I feel so. Akira Takarada's character in that one. And then we got, what was her name? I think her name was Emiko, but I'm probably wrong because I'm bad with names, the actors in the Godzilla movies, but, you know, she has to be in it, and obviously Dr. Serizawa. Now, I think what would be hilarious, well, actually not hilarious, I think what would be awesome is that we actually get Ken Watanabe to play as Dr. Serizawa, the Dr. Serizawa, not his son, not Dr. Shiro Serizawa, whatever. With the eye patch. He's got to have the eye patch, and that's the thing too, is everything has to kind of stay the way it was. And what would be pretty cool is, you know, then you have the option of, well, do we want to bring it into modern age? So let's say like the events that happened in 1954, would we want that to happen in modern days, or would the movie play in the 50s like it was in the 50s? I don't know. I don't know really what would work better. I mean, I think it would be pretty cool to see a modernized, you know, film being portrayed in the 50s, because I feel like that would, I mean, that's just like, actually, you know, never mind. I feel like if it was in the 50s, that would be a better idea rather than having it in the modern age, because we have Godzilla 2014 for that. Godzilla, the Legendary series, is in the modern age for us. Maybe this 1954 remake could still take place in the 50s. I don't know. I think that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, and the story would remain the same. You know, we would have the oxygen destroyer there and all that stuff, and Godzilla himself. Now, this would be a big thing. This would be a huge thing. Now, take out the Legendary design. We're not going to have the Legendary design because that design is for the Legendary series. So with this, what I would want the director to do is get a bunch of artists, and you know, and obviously I think it would be CGI, but I feel like with the Legendary Godzilla, we've seen that Godzilla can work with CGI. We take the original, you know, suit, 1954 suit, and make it. I mean, I don't want to make it too crazy or anything like that, but I feel like, you know, we could modernize it a little bit, but kind of keep some of the characteristics of the 1954 suit in this new CGI model or whatever. So, you know, and what I want this Godzilla, okay, basically, what I would want them, if they were to ever do this, to make this Godzilla the scary Godzilla that they promised us with the Legendary Godzilla, which we didn't get. If you guys remember, with all the trailers and all the teasers of Godzilla 2014, they made it sound like Godzilla was just this violent, ferocious, terrifying creature, which Godzilla is in the 1954 film. But he wasn't, really. I mean, in a ways, the Legendary Godzilla was more of a hero. He wasn't really terrifying, honestly. I mean, you know, the ads kind of lied to us. The trailers lied to us with what Godzilla's motives were. I'm talking about, like, let's bring it up to a level of the GMK Godzilla. In my opinion, the GMK Godzilla is the most ferocious, violent, Godzilla. I mean, this guy is out to kill people. He's not just you know, he's not just, oh, I'm stumbling in buildings and oh, there's people there, I didn't know they were there because to me they're ants. No, I'm talking about GMK Godzilla as in literally looking down, understanding that there are people there and that he's going to kill them. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. So let's just get, and I feel like what would be really cool is that this 1954 Godzilla, let's give him the no pupils. That would be pretty cool. I don't know, I mean, that would just make him just more ferocious because to us, like, think about it, it's in human nature that when you look at something, and let's say it doesn't have pupils, that's why the GMK Godzilla is probably really scary to a lot of people because there's no pupils. So you can't really identify with it because you can't really like, it's just it's unknown. It's something, you know, you're freaked out about it. So I feel like the 1954 Godzilla would benefit from having maybe no pupils. So I don't know. Let's see. So yeah, like, let's, you know, make it dark, make it serious, make it the tones and the message that made the 1954 film so classic. Keep it with that, you know, nuclear message. You know, you know, we gotta stop using nukes. We gotta, you know. Humans create their own monsters and stuff like that. Let's not do this kind of new thing that the legendary Godzilla is doing where it's like Godzilla is bringing balance to nature. I'm not really with that as a lot of people are kind of going with it. I kind of stick with the message that the original went for. Godzilla really wasn't there to bring balance to nature. He was there as a symbol, as a, you know, a metaphor, as you know, putting a mirror in front of humanity's face and saying, look at what you've created because of your own stupidity or something like that. That's the message I like of Godzilla, not this whole bring balance, because then he sounds like a Jedi. I mean, honestly, it's bring balance to nature, bring balance to the Force. There's not that much of a difference. And it also makes Godzilla sound more of a hero than this just beast that, you know, was created by nuclear weapons and, you know, whatever. So yeah, this is, you know, there's really nothing else I can say, that I can think of off the top of my head, which would be pretty interesting for a 1954 remake. But I just wanted to bring the idea to you guys, and I just wanted to see what you guys would think, and you know, if it would be a really good idea, if it would be a really bad idea. I don't know. It depends on what director you get, it depends on what studio's behind it. You know, it depends on so many factors. But let's just say if it was done by a really good director, a really good studio, would it be really interesting? I mean, I feel like, it would be the first Godzilla remake ever. There's, like I said at the beginning of the video, there's never been any remake of Godzilla. They've all been reboots, basically. So I feel like it would be really interesting to see an official remake, because King Kong's been remade. There's actually been a lot of sci-fi monsters that have been remade. Godzilla's the only one that's just kind of hasn't been. He's just felt like, well, I'm just going to keep on rebooting myself instead of, you know, remaking it. But, so I don't know. I just thought it would be a really interesting Kaiju discussion video idea for you guys, and yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I got for you guys. So just post in the comments what you guys think. I would love to hear your discussions on this topic, especially because this is a very interesting topic, I think. I would love to hear from you guys, and yeah, that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay big, G fans.